Hello everyone, this is part 6 on how to make an RPG or adventure game in Scratch. In this tutorial, I will expand my game by adding more maps. I will also improve some of the player interactions with the apple tree and the merchant, and I will add another merchant that trades stone. So let's first add some more levels. So right now, I only have a few maps. If I go upwards, then here's a map, and if I go right or east, then I have another map. And if I go west, then I have another map, which is the same thing as the one on the right. And I have not made a map for when I go south. And as you see here, it gets sort of weird. And also, if I go, for example, right, then I go maybe right again, then it sort of glitches out. And I don't really want that. So I'm thinking of maybe adding some borders around the game, or like around the edge of the maps, and make this game like not an infinite world. So yeah, I'm gonna first add a new map for when I go south, because there's nothing here right now. So to do that, let's first go to the background sprite, and let's go to the costumes. And right now we have nothing for our map on the south. So let's first go to data and then show our east-west and north-south variables. Right now they're 0, 0, because this is the map where the player spawns. And then when we go south, then the north-south variable changes by -1. So now it's east-west 0, north-south -1. And as you see here, the background always switches costume to east-west and then north-south. So like the two numbers combined together. So that would be 0, -1 in this case. And right now we don't have a map with 0, -1. So we need to create one. Let's create a new costume, and we name this 0, -1. And now we can add whatever we want. And keep in mind that this is a background sprite. So whatever you add, the player can collide with. So in this, I'm gonna add some tree trunks. I'm just gonna drag it from this costume. And okay, we have 2 tree trunks. I'm gonna delete one. Oops. Delete one. And I might put one here, I guess. Okay, okay, I'm just gonna put one tree just for right now. I don't want to spend too much time designing my maps in this video. So let's see. Okay, I'll put one tree trunk there. And after you're done making your map for your background sprite, you need to go to your foreground sprite and then make the map for that. So go to your costumes and then create a new costume. Name it 0, -1, 0 for east-west, and a -1 for north-south. And then since we have a tree in our background, we need the top of the tree for our foreground. And as a reminder, everything you draw in the foreground, the player cannot collide with, but goes under it. So I'll drag the trees, then I'll delete 2 of them. Okay, I'll delete 2 of them, and then I'll drag this one where the trunk is. Let's see. Maybe here. Okay, bit more upwards and to the left. Okay, to the right maybe a bit, then down a few. Right here. Okay, to the left like 1. Alright, there we go. And as you can see, there's our tree. So let's try running the game again. So if we go downwards, then we have our map with 1 tree. So that's how you create more maps. And let's see. I'm going to add a map for when I go right or east and then south. So right now I don't have a map for that. This is the exact same map. I don't have a real costume for that. So I'm going to go to my background again. And as you can see, if you go east and then south, then it's 1, -1. So I create a new costume, name this 1, -1, and then this is going to be our map for that particular location. So I'm just going to add a trunk, I guess, in the middle. Okay, actually, I'm not going to add anything. Or actually, I am, but not a tree. So I'm just going to add some walls. So I'm going to create a rectangle. I'll make this gray. I'll do some like really simple walls, like not anything too complicated. Maybe like that. Maybe a bit lighter. Okay, like that. And I think that's good for now. Okay, I might add a black outline to it. Let's see. Okay. Here, and then all the way over here. And then I'll connect it with the line. Alright. And then I go all the way up, draw a dot on the top. Then I connect those with a line. Oh, great. Okay. Now a bit more. Alright. That's going to be our wall. So that's it for my background. Now go to your foreground. Create a new costume. Name it 1, -1. And for the foreground, I'm not going to have anything. So yeah, that's the map for when we go east and then south. And we can't collide with the wall. So that's perfect. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna add the wall around the entire map area. So I'm gonna add one for the south map. So I'm gonna go to my background. Then I'm gonna go to the costumes. I'm just going to copy the wall onto here and position this on the very bottom. I think like this. Alright. Okay, that's fine, and then I'll delete the right side of the wall. Okay, and then I'm going to add the line across. Oops. Okay. And there we go. So now, if you go down, we see our wall, and if we go right, we have the continuation of the wall. So it acts sort of as like a boundary for the game. And okay, I need to continue this part. Alright. So now I'm just going to continue making more walls and the levels. So yeah. Alright, so I am done with the walls, and I can just give you a quick look. So there's the walls around here. If we go up, there's more walls on the left. Go up again, there's more walls. And by the way, we cannot collide with these. I mean, we can. We cannot go through the walls. There's more walls over here. If we go to the right again, there's more walls. And if we go down, there's more. And down again, there are more walls. So yeah, I've completely enclosed this entire map area, I guess. So yeah. Very quickly, I want to add a few arrows at the beginning of the game. Just to like, I'm just gonna add some arrows like at the edge of the screens, like flashing arrows, just to show the players that the person can change levels. So yeah, I'm just gonna draw some arrows really quickly. Alright, just like that. I have 4 gray arrows on the corners of the screen, and I'm just gonna drag a when flag clicked. So when the game starts, I just want them to flash a few times and then hide. So I'll repeat like 5 times. Let's see. I will first make them show, and then Okay, I'll actually repeat 20 times inside of the 5 times, and then go to looks. I'll just change their ghost effect by 5, and then change ghost effect by -5, and then, yeah, I think that's good, and then hide. Alright, I'm gonna first actually set the ghost effect to 100 so they're completely invisible, and then actually make them slowly more visible and then invisible again. So yeah, let's see how that looks. There are the arrows, they're flashing, and then they disappear. Okay, let me see that again. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm just going to add that in the game. And okay, I'm going to hide my east, west, and north, south variables. And now, the next thing I want to do is to improve the interaction with the apple tree. Because right now, you can get unlimited apples from this apple tree, and that's a bit overpowered. So yeah, I want it to maybe make it so that you can collect 3 at a time or something like that. So yeah, let me see. Okay, I actually might not do that. I'll do it so that the player takes some time to collect the apple. So let's see. Alright, where do we start? Okay, let's first go to our text. And let's go to our costumes and let's create a new one. Maybe let's call it like, or just like, change the text of apple found to maybe collecting or something like that. So the person knows that the player is collecting the apples right now. And let's see. Alright. And from the interactable object, let's create a new variable. Let's call it is collecting or is interacting. Or actually, is collecting, yeah. Let's click OK. And I want to make it so that while the player is collecting the resources, for example, apples, then the player can't move. So that's why I'm going to make this variable. So let's first set is collecting to 0. I might set in the player. So set is collecting to 0. And let's make it so that 0 is no and 1 is yes. Or actually, we can just type no or yes. So let's type no in here. And let's go back to our interactable object. And after the player presses space when touching an apple tree, let's set collecting or is collecting to yes. And let's actually not change apples by 1, so let's take that out. And so it sets is collecting to yes, and then it broadcasts apple. And let's go to our text. And in our when I receive apple, we show switch costume to costume 1. But let's actually not do that. Let's switch costume to costume 3. And that's our collecting text. And then let's wait maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds. And then let's switch costume to costume 1, which is the apple found text. And then let's change apples by 1. And one more thing, let's go back to our interactable object sprite. And every time before we collect an apple, we need to check if it's already collecting, or if is collecting is equal to yes. And if it is yes, then we don't want to collect again because it's collecting right now. So let's grab an AND operator. Let's put this into the left side of it. Then let's grab a equals operator, go to data, grab a is collecting variable. So if is collecting is equal to no, then let's collect an apple. And also in the text, let's set is collecting back to no after the apple found text shows. So let's try it out. it's touching an apple tree. Press space. It says collecting. Then it says, oops, okay, it did not show that. Oh yeah, okay, that's because we hit it right after it switches costume to costume 1. So let's wait 1 second to then hide. So let's try it again. We press space. It says collecting. Then it says apple found. Then we get 1 apple. And we can collect again. And if we press space, then nothing happens. Or we just like collect 1 right after. So yeah. I actually might set is collecting to know after the 1 second wait. That might be better, so you can't like immediately collect it again after you press space. Apple found. Okay, I think that's better. Or maybe wait 1 second. So wait 1 second hide, and then wait 1 more second, and then set is collecting to know. I think I might like that a bit better. Get an apple, and okay, that works. So yeah, now we collect apples much more slowly. And I might do the same with the stone. So let's go to our interactable object sprite. Go to our stone clone, and that is clone number 5. Oops. Okay. Clone number 5. And now we do the same thing. So first we gotta check if is collecting is equal to no. Is collecting equal to no. Add that inside of that, and then add those to the back to the if statement. And then let's take out the change stone by 1. We don't need it. Okay, so it broadcasts stone. And then go to our text. We need another collecting for the stone. So I'm just gonna make this gray. Let's see. Alright. And then we are going to do the same as we did for our apple. So switch costume to costume 4. That's the collecting costume. Wait 3 seconds. Switch costume to costume 2. That's our stone found costume. Then change stone by 1. Then wait 1 second. Then hide. Then wait 1 second. Then set is collecting back to no. Let's see. Let's go back to our interactable object sprite. Oh yeah, we need to set is collecting to yes in our stone clone. And now it should work. Let's test it out. There's our stone. Press space. Collecting. And stone found. Then we can get another stone and stuff like that. Alright. Now we're done with the apple tree and stone interactions. And if we go inside of the house, we only have 1 merchant, and that is to trade apples for gold. But we also want one for the stone. So let's create a new merchant, and we can do that by first, in our foreground, we can just duplicate this costume. So duplicate this. Then we have our second merchant. And that is going to be our stone merchant. Okay, I might move it to the right a bit. About here, I think. Alright. Then let's add our stone picture in there. Okay, I'll delete the apple and the gold. Drag the stone over there. I will, okay, delete that. Okay, and then now there is our stone to gold. Alright. That's pretty good. And that's all we need to do for our foreground. Now let's go to our interactable object sprite. And since we need another interactable object, we need to create a new clone first of all. So duplicate that. Then we need to set clone number to 6 because we're creating a new clone with a new ID. So this is going to be our 6th clone. And we also need a new costume. So I'm just going to duplicate our current merchant costume. And then I'm just going to paint this gray, or paint the pants gray for the stone. And then we can scroll all the way down, duplicate one of the if statements. Or actually, let's duplicate the one with the merchant. So that is clone number 4. That is this one. So let's duplicate that one. I'll put this all the way down. Put it on the very bottom. Then let's change clone number equals to 6. Then if it is, so then check if it's the room, which it is, then show, go over there. Okay, our position is going to be different. So we need to, I'll make it positive 85 maybe, just a wild guess. Then I'm going to switch costume to costume 6, which is our stone merchant costume. Then if distance player less than 18, space pressed, and stone is greater than 0, wait until space pressed equals 0, change gold by 1, change stone by -1. And that should work. It's that simple. So let's try it out. Okay, that's too far. We need to make the X position less. 50, 48. Okay, 48. And I think this should work now. Let's try it. Oh yeah, we need some stone first. Let's gather some stone. Then we press space, collecting. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot to make the player not be able to move while it's collecting. So, okay, let's first test if the merchant works. Go inside of the house, then press space. And as you see, we lost the stone and we gained the gold. So it works. Alright. Now we need to make the player not be able to move when it collects a stone or apple. So let's go to our player. And in our movement scripts over here, we need an if statement. So go to control, grab an if statement, drag it inside or outside of the movement if else statements, but don't drag it outside of the go to player hitbox. Leave that in the forever loop. And then let's go to operators, grab an equals, and we gotta check if is collecting is equal to no. So if the player is not collecting anything, then it can move. Otherwise, it can't move. So let's try it out. Oops, okay. The player can still move. Oh yeah, of course, okay. That is because the player hitbox makes the player move, and the player simply just follows the player hitbox. So okay, let's leave that in there, because this is for checking if the player switches costumes. So of course, we don't want the player to switch costumes while collecting. So yep, we leave that in there. Now let's go to our player hitbox. Then let's, in this over here, grab an if statement, put it over the whole thing, grab an operators, grab equals, go to data, grab is collecting, and if is collecting is equal to no. And now this should work. So let's try it out. Okay, now the player can't move when it's collecting, and after the apple is found, then the player can move. Alright, let's try it again. Collecting, apple found, and then the player can move after that. Alright, this should also work with the stone. So if we go up, then we go in front of a stone, press space, collecting, we can't move, then stone found, and then we can move. Alright. Anyways, that's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, then give it a thumbs up, and subscribe too if you haven't already. This game is on my Scratch profile. The link will be in the description below, so you can check it out if you want to. Anyways, that's it for this tutorial. See ya!